What up, and welcome back to the Golden Era. We got Game 2 of the Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, first round series from Minneapolis coming up deck. But first, Game 1. Wolves take this one 128-113. Despite a big night from Javon Roll, Jonathan Kuminga, and Deontay Dixon, it's poor shooting nights from Caden Dickerson, from Jalen House, from Lynn Gardner, who is working through a lower back injury. Big night from Abiz Ojale, 35-9-5. 31-5 from Jacob Cuxick, and then Poole, 18 points coming off the bench in 22 minutes, and then Darian Harrison, nice double-double. What went wrong for Golden State? Poor shooting from deep. Timberwolves better, plus 10 in points in the paint. They dominate the boards, 43-31. We've got a pivotal Game 2. Warriors are trying to get home court advantage and avoid going down to Golden State, going down 0-2 coming back home. The Wolves trying to put the foot on the neck, sweep the first two games at home, and try to take care of business when they get to Chase Center in the Bay. Game 2 coming up right now.
The Western Conference NBA Playoffs, Round 1 continues. The Warriors, fighting for their first win of the series, will try to even the score at 1-1 as they go up against the Timberwolves. Round 1 of the NBA playoffs continues.
Game 2, baby. Warriors at the Wolves as Golden State trying to avoid the 0-2 hole against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who had a very dominant Game 1 win. The opening tips goes to the Dubs as they try to take care of Game 2 in an immediately bad start. Malcolm Knight on the turnover, and there's the likely NBA MVP, Abiz Ojale, who can't get that first bucket to go. Warriors in transition the opposite way, slapped away by Jacob Cuxick. Let's talk keys to the game as we get rolling. Minnesota, they're going to need a big game from their MVP, obviously, as Michael Cooper gets the first bucket there of the game. They're going to need a big game, though, from some of their second and third options, Jacob Cuxick and Darian Harrison. Harrison has to be more efficient than really the Warriors' number 3. He has to go toe-to-toe against likely Jonathan Kuminga in this case. You've got three guys as Kuminga rising up, and we'll get a little replay on this bad boy. Gets the screen, goes right past Darian Harrison, up for 2 on Abiz Ojale. So what are we going to see, right? There's Cuxick burying a triple. You're going to get a 1v1 matchup, not necessarily in the play itself, but we're going to see big performances from Abiz Ojale, you should, and Javon Roll. Got to see big nights from both of them. So then what happens at the 2 versus the 3? If Kuminga outplays Hairston, I think the Warriors win this thing. If Hairston outplays Kuminga as Javon Roll lines up and buries a triple to make it 14-13, draw the timeout. If Hairston outplays Kuminga, I think Minnesota's going to Golden State up 2-0 because Cuxick is a good option, and I'm interested here early on. The Warriors, they're defending Cuxick with Javon Roll. I would expect that to change. If you're Minnesota, your key also on the defensive side of the ball is let's make other guys beat us as Harrison wide open triple, can't get that to go. Rebound for Kingston. You've got to make one of these non-stars for Golden State factor into the game as Ojale easily gets that one to go. What's the key on the other side of the ball? What does Golden State need to do to win this thing? They have to make it so that Abiz Ojale is just slightly inconvenienced. Russell Kingston has to have a big game. It doesn't have to be a huge statistical game. It just needs to be an efficient game in some capacity as Abiz Ojale slapping this one out of bounds. Another look as Branko Todorovic can't get that 2 to go. You need to have something as here's Lynn Gardner with the difficult low back strain, and Abiz Ojale easily makes him pay, throws the crown on the head. A little bold accusation there from Abiz Ojale. But you got to see Russell Kingston. He's got to have at least a deterrent type of game as Gabriel Ruffin gets that triple to go. That's going to end our first 27-26. Minnesota on top. A couple triples there from Javon Roll as he's trying to keep them rolling. But Jacob Cuxick, an efficient first quarter of action. Let's rise on into the second. So we've got Minnesota trying to go up 2-0. head back to Golden State with a commanding lead. The Warriors are trying to steal this thing. Now, what is the second look? Here's Shamar Poole lining up a deep triple, gets that to go, pushes the lead back out to 4. And what we're seeing a little bit here is Shamar Poole drive kicks to Gabriel Ruffin, buries the 3, drawing the Warriors timeout, and just like that, it's a 7-point Minnesota lead. Here comes Kuminga, kicks it, corner, triple, Javon Roll, pocket is good, and the quick answer. They're going to need some shooting here from Golden State. We're seeing, though, a lot of Minnesota attacking Javon Roll a lot. Shamar Poole left wide open, triple, buried, and Golden State down by 7 again. Minnesota really taking advantage here. No Darius Dixon on the floor. Here's Darian Hairston. He has struggled so far in this one. They sag off deep, open 3, won't go again. Hairston really struggling. He's got Russell Kingston here in the paint. Little step back midi from Hairston, rattles home. He celebrates that one. Happy to try to get that rolling. And a 9-point Minnesota lead. Golden State, they really struggle without Deontay Dixon on the floor. Here's Shamar Poole going at Jalen House. That's the biggest question mark for this Golden State team as Jonathan Kuminga rises up with a little bit of emphasis. Right on top of Gabriel Ruffin, going right past Marcus Workman to cut it to 5. But Golden State, what do they get after Javon Roll and Deontay Dixon? Dixon back in the game here for the Warriors. What type of production? And when Dixon sits, this team has really struggled. Javon Roll steps into that one. Little shimmy, cuts it down to 4. Got to find other ways if you're Golden State. Got to find other ways as we approach halftime. Kuxic's trying to answer. He does. How do you stop this thing right now? Because offensively, Golden State really struggled. You saw the lead kind of dwindle and grow here for Minnesota. All of that without Deontay Dixon on the floor. Now he's back in, and we're seeing a little bit more open looks for the Golden State Warriors. Here's Ogilvy, and he's going at Lynn Garner. This is... I don't like that matchup for Golden State. Lynn Garner dealing with a low back strain. I don't know... if Golden State is trying to figure out as a bad pump fake, wide open, Hairston triple, again, 3rd straight miss there from Hairston. We talked about he's really got to have a good game. He has not. Here's Ogilvy at the buzzer. That won't go. And we've got a 52-47 lead for Minnesota. So they add 4 points. They led in the double figures at one point in that second. They head into the break. Here we are up by 7. Kick it. Jonathan Kuminga to start the scoring for the Warriors in the second half. He does, and we're back down to a 5-point game. Kuxic's the answer. And Minnesota answering every single time Golden State has made a push here. They get into the paint. They get some buckets. They get open looks like that one for Javon Roll. But Minnesota has had the answers. Got to feel very frustrated if you're Golden State right now. Back down by 8 here with just over 9 to go, and it's Malcolm Knight. Again, answering the call when Golden State gets momentum. So far in this game, the Minnesota Timberwolves have responded, despite the fact that it's going up on Abiz Ogilvy as Jonathan Kuminga. His 3rd highlight dunk. Ogilvy cannot get that one. Golden State, a bad Darian Hairston game. We said as he tries to pull up triple, gets this one to go. His first made triple, and we're back to a 9-point lead. Malcolm Knight wide open to make it 12. He will, and the wheels starting to fall off a little bit for Golden State here in the 3rd quarter. Down by 12, their largest deficit of the game. How do they respond? How about a Javon Roll mid-range jumper? And that puts it back down to 10. He's trying to keep this thing going. He has had a very good night so far. It hasn't been that way on the opposite side as Russell Kingston gets that, and we're down by 8. Let's move ahead. 6-point game. Here comes Hairston. Just hit that 3. Step back over top of Jonathan Kuminga, and now Hairston is rolling. And we said, if all 3 Wolves stars can show up, this team is going to be tough to beat for Golden State, and they could be staring down a 2-game deficit, but out of nowhere, the block on Abiz Ogilvy. 4-point game after some free throws here with under 3.5 to go. Ogilvy, though, the next time down, says, no problem, senor. Let's get 2 more on the board, and we're back to 6. Here comes Roll. Inside to Kingston. Kick out. Dixon triple. They need it. They get it. And they're back to 3. So Golden State trailed by as many as 12 in this 3rd quarter. They have chipped away. Some free throws has helped them. Some turnovers here. Here comes Deontay Dixon in transition on Ruffin in the paint. Tough layup goes. A little bit of silencing of the Target Center crowd on the other end. We are knotted at 74, so a quick rally by Golden State, but that's the matchup you don't like. Lynn Gardner on Abiz Ojale, not much defense, and the likely MVP gets it done. So Warriors, all that work to get back from down 12, and they're right back down by 5. 79-74 late. Third quarter, needing a bucket. Pulled up jumper from Dixon. Gets it. And the momentum shifting to Golden State. You want to talk about a big bucket there as we lock in for the fourth quarter. Every single make or miss coming up next. Big bucket from Deontay Dixon. Would have been a 5-point deficit. Instead, just a 2-pointer. Let's lock this thing in. First possession of the quarter. Alley-oop to Jonathan Kuminga. We got ourselves a tie basketball game. The fourth alley-oop, or rather we should say slam dunk highlight reel for Kuminga here in this one. Next possession down for Golden State, trying to get the lead. Russell Kingston drawing the foul. First free throw rattles home. That's all he would get. But on the very next possession, little screen action, kicks it inside. Kingston, tough bucket. He's starting to take advantage. We said we need a big night from Kingston. He needs to be a deterrent on Abiz Ojale. He's starting to be a little bit of effective on the offensive end. Can he deter Ojale here? No, he cannot. Ojale right back to a 1-point game. A little jawing on the way down. Here's Shamar Poole guarding Jonathan Kuminga. Mismatch if we've seen one. Nice spin move from Kuminga. Silky up and in, and it's a 3-point game. Next possession. Dixon, the hardest man to stop, and a little missed alley-oop. Turnover, finds its way to Javon Roll, burying the triple, and it's a 4-point game. Trailed by as many as 12. Now on top by 4. Caden Dickerson, tough 3, gets it to go, and the lead is ballooned to 7. Here come the Golden State Warriors in the fourth quarter. Inside for Cooper, up top for Knight, trying to answer. He won't do that. Offensive board, though, for Workman, and it's slapped away. Russell Kingston, he's not just being a deterrent, he is being a rejecter on the defensive side of the ball. Cuxix, wide open triple, though. Gets that, stems the bleeding just a bit. We've got a 2-point game now. Under 6 to go. Here comes Dixon. Tough finish. Looking at the hand like, how did I do that? 4-point lead for the Warriors. We got 5.5 to go. Inside. Kingston says, no siree. Darian Hairston, you're not having a good game. I'm not going to make it any easier for you. Here comes the likely MVP into the game. Down by 4. 1 second on the shot clock. Midi buried, silky smooth. Ojale tells the crowd, let's calm down. We're not out of this thing. 2-point game. Freed up. Javon Roll. Been red hot from deep. He's going to continue. 5-point lead for the Golden State Warriors. And here he goes wide open. Deontay Dixon. And the Warrior lead back up to 7. Little off-ball screen. Gets lost. Beautiful alley-oop. The forward-to-forward connection. And Dixon with the powerful slam. Hovering over Abiz Ojale. I can't be liking that too much. 9-point lead. Here comes Cuxix. And Dixon says, no, sir. Big block. Offensive board, or rather defensive board, and then inside for Roll. Can't get that to go on the opposite end. Minnesota needs some buckets. 3 minutes left in this one. Here's Hairston underneath. Beautiful finish inside. Michael Cooper, the old school 3-point play, and it's a 6-point game. Here's Roll. Screen from Kingston. Very dirty move there from Roll. A little Euro step inside. Gets it to go on Ojale. It's back to 8. Here's Hairston. Guarded by Kuminga. Spinning, fading, off the glass, no good. Need a stop now if you're Minnesota. You led by as many as 12. Javon Roll, pull up, triple! Can't get it to go. Would have pushed it to a double-digit lead for the first time for Golden State. Wide open up top is Hairston. He doesn't like that. He says, I'll take on the little man. Russell Kingston says, here I am to help. 8-point game again. Here's Dixon. Going at Ojale, stripped by Cuxix. Need a bucket. 2 minutes left. 8-point game. Mid-range. Cuxix open. In and out. The lid has closed for the Timberwolves here in the fourth quarter. 8-point lead for Golden State. Here's Kuminga. A little up. Gets Hairston off his feet. Can't get the jumper to go or the layup to go. Minute and a half. Inside. Hairston. A lot of bodies. Up. Over. Just over the outreached hands of Jonathan Kuminga to make it 6. Inside they go to Kingston. Wide open. Javon Roll's been deadly. Can't get that one to go. Would have been a backbreaker. Just over a minute. Here's Hairston going at Kuminga. Inside the paint. And who else to contest that shot but Russell Kingston. And the lead stays at 6. Here's Dixon. Screen from Roll. Little double team inside. Left with nobody in his zip code. And Javon Roll misses another wide open 3 in this fourth quarter. The lead stays at 6. 30 seconds to go. Kicks. Corner. Triple. Yes, sir. It's Jacob Cuxix with the 3. We've got a one-possession game. Golden State needs a bucket to put this away. Here's Roll. The veteran up, over, my goodness. Ogilvy coming over. Let's get a slow-mo look at this one. Ogilvy comes to block. Just can't get it. The move by the 30-year-old. The killing layup with 17 seconds to go. And the lead's back to 5. 10 seconds on the clock. Here's Malcolm Knight. The 2 gets it to go. We've got free throws. Gonna have to be free throws with 7 seconds left. Inbound to Roll. Roll's gonna be fouled by Hairston. And the most dangerous free throw shooter in the game gets the first. Gets the second. 5-point lead. That's going to do it. Deep 3 won't matter because the Golden State Warriors even the series 105-100 with a game to win on the road against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Disappointment in the Target Center, but euphoria for the Warriors on the opposite side. Let's take a look. Highlights for Javon Roll. Big night. 8 triples in this one. Deadly from deep. That is what he does. He had the game-sealing layup over Ogilvy. Minnesota just let him get open too much. We're going back to Golden State. 1-1 in the first round. And there you have it. Golden State gets a 105-100 win on the road in Game 2. Needed the win, needed to get back to San Francisco with a tied series. They do that, and they steal home court from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's go takeaways, Golden State. Not a great three-point shooting night for the second straight time from Golden State. Percentage-wise, they still end up, this time they +3 from deep, but they didn't shoot well. The difference in this game, though, free throws. 30-12. 14 of them came from Deontay Dixon and his relentless attempts to get down court. Kuminga has 4, Gardner gets 4, Todorovic ends up with 4, but this was a Deontay Dixon and Javon Roll show. And this has always been the conversation with Golden State. If this team is going to win basketball games, and if this team is going to win a NBA championship, they need their big 3 to be not only great, but borderline flawless. And against the Minnesota Timberwolves, it really felt like they were near that. 38 from Javon Roll, 8 3-pointers, 33 from Deontay Dixon. A quiet but efficient night from Jonathan Kuminga, but the stars just were the stars as we get some balloons off in the air for you. This was a game that Minnesota really needed. I think they needed to go back to San Francisco up 2-0. And they got a good night from Jacob Kuksix. You wish you need more than 12 shots from Abij Ogilvy, and we'll talk Darian Hairston in one moment. But Golden State, you needed a big night out of Javon Roll and out of Deontay Dixon, and the Golden State Warriors got that. Now this is the question mark, right? The margin for error for Golden State is 0, right? Because through the first 2 games, it's been Javon Roll and being fantastic, 38 points after 30 in Game 1. It's been Deontay Dixon, 24 in Game 1, 33 in Game 2. Big night from Jonathan Kuminga in Game 1. A little bit less, just really didn't get to the free throw line quite as much, obviously, and didn't hit any threes, but otherwise a similar night from Jonathan Kuminga. But everywhere else you go, you just look at these top 2 lines, and Golden State is not getting production out of the rest of this roster. That's been their problem. Jalen House, 2 really bad nights. Lynn Gardner, after being pretty quiet in Game 1, equally quiet in Game 2. Gardner was their big acquisition. Gardner was the guy that they went out. They added Lynn Gardner during the regular season. They gave up Jermaine Trimble. They gave up Aaron Triano. They really gutted their depth to add, who is a better player, Lynn Gardner, but they gutted a lot of their depth to bring in a guy who, through the first 2 games, again, is battling some lower back injury, but through the first 2 games, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in 23 minutes. They'll need more from Lynn Gardner if they're going to win. While Golden State can win this series, as it is currently, Javon Roll, Deontay Dixon, Jonathan Kuminga, there's top 3. I am skeptical about the Warriors' chances of winning an NBA championship if they have to go through Sacramento, who has better pieces, Los Angeles, and Kareem Robinson. One of those 2 teams is coming out of that 3-6 matchup. They're going to have to face either Seattle or Phoenix in the next round. Seattle, you could argue that's a favorable matchup for them. I just don't know that Golden State has the depth to last in a very good Western Conference. Let's go to the other side, Minnesota. What's the takeaway? You need more. Like Darian Hairston, he's your number 2, your number 3. We talked about that in the last episode. Hairston can be that guy at different points. But through the first 2 games, game 1, you'll take it. 13 and 13 plus 5. Wasn't fantastic from the floor. 5 of 11. But he played a pretty good game, was plus 15. Yes, he's plus 4 in this game. But 4 for 16, you just need more from him. If he's going to be plus 4, you need him to be, you need him to go 8 of 16. And he needs to be plus 10. Because that's what it's going to take to beat Golden State. 12 shots from Abij Ojale. You look at his recent games, he does not take 12 shots. I mean, this dude is constantly taking shots. If you look through, we're just going to go through his entire season and see if there's any other games in which he took 12 or fewer shots. Portland, in which he went 6 for 6 on January 30th. That is the only other time so far, as we keep chugging along for the presumptive MVP, that he has taken fewer than 13 shots. There we go. 11 in November against the New York Knicks. And that's it. So 3 times this season, Abij Ojale has taken 13 or fewer shots. And it cannot be at home, game 2, first round, a team that is trying. You made a big trade to get Abij Ojale. You have said our window to contend, we think, is right now, and you don't get it done. 12 shots, you need to have more aggression out of Abij Ojale, and then he's minus 19 on top of that. Jacob Kuksik did what he needed to do. 7 of 13, 5 of 6 from deep. He had a really good night at the point guard position. But if the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win this series, and now they have to go get one in Golden State, we know that's not easy. They're going to have to go on the road and take down Javon Roll, Deontay Dixon, and Jonathan Kuminga. When those 3 guys are healthy, Golden State is one of, if not the best team in the NBA. I don't know how Minnesota can do that, getting the performance that they got from both of their top 2 guys and then throw in Hairston for their top 3. They need more. Game 2, they did not get that.